I am Nicola Barito, and today it is my great pleasure to be your host for the virtual launch of the groundbreaking book, Eminent Caribbean Jurists, Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists. Conceived by the Honorable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, Chairman of the CCJ Academy for Law, the Eminent Caribbean Jurists Awards recognizes and celebrates the outstanding contributions by lawyers to Caribbean development. This year, the Academy acknowledges and pays tribute to Caribbean women jurists who have blazed a trail for others to follow. And this book chronicles and memorializes their contributions. I now have the honor of introducing the Honorable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, to welcome us all on this auspicious occasion.
Greetings. I am pleased to welcome you all as the Academy launches this publication in honor of 34 of our pioneering Caribbean women jurists. I commend the Academy, its chair, the Honorable Mr. Justice Winston Anderson, and the co-convener of this project, the Honorable Madam Justice Rajnath Lee, for their leadership of this important endeavor, which celebrates the achievements and contributions of these exceptional women. Heartfelt congratulations must be extended to all the honorees. As I do so, I also recognize the stellar contributions of the myriad other women and women jurists from the Caribbean and the diaspora who have all helped to shape the region and, by extension, the world. Their selfless endeavors, hard work, determination, and leadership have made a tremendous and positive impact and laid a worthy foundation upon which generations to come can and will build. The 34 outstanding women whose life and work are shared within the pages of this publication represent the best of our part of the world. These women have persevered against all odds and have distinguished themselves, whether at the bar or on the bench or in some other significant service to society. As we delve into the journeys of these phenomenal women, we glimpse indomitable spirits that overcame challenges and triumphed through adversity. These great women have lent their voice, their skills, and their expertise to the struggles of the vulnerable and the marginalized. They have advocated for equality, good governance under the rule of law, and for a just society. They have excelled in their respective fields, and they have set standards worthy of emulation. Their lives and accomplishments are an unmatched source of inspiration to generations, especially to women and girls. Individually and collectively, they have set in motion momentous ripples that cascade through time and geography. As we applaud the many successes of these honorees, we are now challenged to commit ourselves to ending all forms of discrimination against women and girls. When women and girls are lifted up, the entire society rises. The meaningful participation of women in every facet of decision-making must no longer be relegated to the status of an exception, but be recognized as the imperative that it is. In the words of former United States Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I quote, "Women belong to all places where decisions are being made. It should not be that women are the exception," unquote.
The CCJ Academy for Law is the educational arm of the Caribbean Court of Justice, which means that the Academy assists in the development of Caribbean jurisprudence through the non-judicial process. An important objective of the Academy is to recognize, celebrate, and memorialize the contributions of outstanding Caribbean jurists to the development of the Caribbean society. And the Eminent Caribbean Jurist Awards series was conceptualized to do just that. As chairman of the Academy, I am very pleased that this year, 2021, we honor 34 pioneering Caribbean women jurists. These women are drawn from the entire region, including our non-English speaking member states of Haiti and Suriname. The extraordinary stories of the lives of these women are told in Eminent Caribbean Jurists, Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists 2021, a book that should be compulsory reading for all young Caribbean citizens. In these biographies are memorialized their travails, their triumphs, their profiles in courage that should challenge all of us to a better version of ourselves. Their stories will stand the test of time and will serve to motivate a new generation of lawyers to also make their own indelible contributions to our Caribbean society. Madam Justice Rajnorth Lee and I, as co-chairs of the PCJJ project, are delighted to be associated with this lasting tribute to the sterling contributions of our groundbreaking women jurists. We thank everyone who has contributed to the production of this book. Members of the PCJJ Selection Committee, the biographers, and the administrative support staff at the court and at the Academy. In working with these pioneering women, whether physically or through the record those departed have left behind, we were truly challenged and motivated. And as you become acquainted and then familiar with their lives and their life work, both fully illustrated in the pages of this book, we hope that you too will be similarly inspired.
It was the year 1972. There was much excitement at a modest home of a young girl who lived on Arpita Avenue in Woodbrook, a suburb of Port of Spain, the capital of Trinidad and Tobago. There was a buzz in the air. The country was to have a new judge, a woman from Barbados. The two grown women who lived in that house had received little formal education, but the news that Justice Marie Elizabeth Bourne had been appointed the first woman judge of Trinidad and Tobago and of the entire Commonwealth Caribbean brought great joy to them. These two women were my aunt, Dorothy Weeks, who died almost 20 years ago at the age of 91, and my mother, Rita Rajnorth, who died in June of this year at the blessed age of 100. Imagine, they would say to that young girl who had just completed her A-levels, a woman can become a judge. Fast forward almost 50 years, we gather virtually in the midst of a pandemic to celebrate the launch of this book, which captures the extraordinary stories, challenges, and accomplishments of 34 pioneering Caribbean women jurists, including those of Justice Bourne. These remarkable women are pioneers in the truest sense of the word. This book contains colorful portraits of young women who overcame poverty and other serious obstacles. They were determined to become the best they could be. These women used their knowledge and achievements in the law as a platform to serve their peoples, their countries, and the region with a passion and determination so frequently recognized in Caribbean women. They broke through glass ceilings with confidence and even boldness and accomplished many firsts. I join with every speaker at this book launch in saluting each and every one of these pioneering Caribbean women jurists eminent Caribbean jurists whose remarkable stories fill the pages of this book. It is my personal hope that this book will inspire young men and women throughout the region to strive to live exceptional lives of service. In closing, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the CCJ Academy for Law, and in particular to my colleague, Justice Winston Anderson, Judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice and Chair of the Academy, for inviting me to join him in spearheading this project. I am deeply grateful to Justice Anderson, the staff of the Academy, and in particular Ms. Susan Medina, Secretary of the Academy, for their advice and support. I join with my co-chair, Justice Anderson, in expressing our gratitude to the President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Justice Adrian Saunders, for his overwhelming support of this project. I was that young girl who grew up in Woodbrook and who heard in 1972 that a woman could become a judge. Co-chairing this project has been a dream come true.
This book celebrates and documents the careers of 34 remarkable Caribbean women. All are or were lawyers. They took this base, legal training and the practice of the law, and used it to make hugely important contributions to their nations, their region, and indeed the wider world. Our book begins with two sitting heads of state, Their Excellencies Paula Mae Weeks, First Woman President of Trinidad and Tobago, and Sandra Mason, Second Woman Governor General of Barbados, and, we hear, soon to become the first President of the Republic of Barbados. And we have Eartha Pascal Trillo, a courageous woman who served as Haiti's first female president at a moment of great peril for her beloved nation. We have one sitting head of government, the extraordinary Mia Mottley of Barbados, whose biography features too many firsts to count. We have two former heads of government, Trinidad and Tobago's Kamla Persad-Bissessar, first woman Attorney General, leader of the opposition, and Prime Minister of her nation, and another brave lawyer, Claudette Worley, who served as the first woman Prime Minister of Haiti at another difficult time in her country's history. But the doyen here is the late Eugenia Charles, the region's first female Prime Minister, who served for 15 years in that post and was also Dominica's first woman barrister, 1949. Other formidable women who held high national office include Charlene Cartwright Robinson, first female premier of the Turks and Caicos Islands, Billy Miller, first woman to serve as a cabinet minister in Barbados, and the first in the Commonwealth Caribbean to become deputy prime minister, and Constance Mitchum, the first woman to be elected to the Parliament of St. Kitts and Nevis, and the first to serve as a cabinet minister there. From Dominica again, we have Alex Boyd Knights, the long-serving Speaker of the Dominica House of Assembly, who's been honored with the title Speaker Emeritus. Several of our honorees held or hold high office in the judiciary of the region. From the Bahamas come Joan Sawyer, first woman president of that country's Court of Appeal, and before that, first female Chief Justice, and Anita Allen, who also served as president of the Court of Appeal. Guyana is represented by the formidable Desiree Bernard, first woman High Court judge, first Justice of Appeal, first Chief Justice of Guyana. She crowned an illustrious career by becoming the first female judge of the Caribbean Court of Justice. Jamaica's Ina Collymore Woodstock, recently recognized in the UK as the oldest living female World War II veteran, was Jamaica's first female resident magistrate and its first woman Crown Solicitor. Zyla McCalla, like Bernard, rose to serve as Jamaica's first female Chief Justice for over 10 years. Still serving today as the first woman Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court is Janice Pereira from the British Virgin Islands. And Cynthia Valstein-Montnor, the first woman judge of Suriname's High Court of Justice, courageously presided over the protracted trial of former President Desi Bartersi, an incredibly difficult assignment. Of course, many of our honorees are known for their contributions outside the judiciary. Patricia Scotland, born in Dominica, is the first female Secretary General of the Commonwealth after a stellar career in British political life. Suriname's Manorna Suknandan did much to draw her country more closely into the CARICOM orbit and served as Deputy Secretary General of that body. Monica Joseph was the first female judge of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, but is especially known for her long life in public service in many islands, not just her native Grenada. Lois Young of Belize, after a successful career in private practice and the legal service, is the high-profile permanent representative of Belize to the United Nations. 3 outstanding women made their main contributions in the field of legal education and scholarship. Norma Ford was a deeply respected and indeed loved teacher in the Faculty of Law of the UWI Barbados campus, where Velma Newton was the long-serving law librarian, dean of the faculty, and a prolific scholarly researcher and legal archivist. They are both Barbadians, while Rosemary Antoine from Trinidad and Tobago was the first dean of the Faculty of Law at the Trinidad campus of the UWI, and is a brilliant legal scholar and fierce campaigner for human rights. 2 women crashed various glass ceilings in the corporate world. Sharon Christopher in banking and finance in Trinidad and Tobago, Sandra Osborne in the Barbadian and regional insurance business, as well as a stellar record in national, regional, and international sports administration. All our honorees have used the law to advance human and women's rights in the region, but 2 can be singled out for their careers in legal activism. Shirley Miller, the first female QC in Jamaica, has made huge contributions to legal reform and modernization there. While Trinidad and Tobago's Dana Sitahal, who died in the line of duty, was a fearless lawyer, prosecutor, public servant, independent senator, and newspaper columnist. The last category of honorees is one close to my heart as a historian. They are the women who blazed the trail for others by their early entry into the legal profession of the region. Iris de Freitas Brazau was called to the bar in colonial British Guyana in 1929, just a few years after this became possible in Britain. Her countrywoman, Gladys Ramsaran, was called to the bar in Trinidad and Tobago in 1932 and later became the first female magistrate there. Elizabeth Vaughan Hollands was called to the bar in Barbados in 1947 and became the first female judge in the region when appointed to the Trinidad and Tobago High Court in 1972. Daisy Chambers was admitted to practice law in Jamaica as a solicitor in 1948. And Bernice Lake, born in tiny Anguilla, was one of the first women to be called to the bar in St. Kitts and Nevis, and the first from the Eastern Caribbean to become a QC. We celebrate the courage of these women who were early pioneers in a male-dominated profession. The biographical essays about these 34 women are as varied and diverse as they are. Some are quite short, others longer. Some are formal and even academic in tone, Many are informal and almost chatty. We hope that this book will educate, inform, and inspire many, especially our young women as well as young men looking to enter or newly embarked on a career in the law.
Now that we have a clear sense of how this publication was conceptualized and developed, and given a glimpse of the content by Professor Brereton, we are now ready to share with you the official launch of the book. Presentations were made to 4 representative honorees in different islands. To introduce these awardees, the Honorable Mr. Justice Dennis Barrow will read an excerpt from their respective biographical essay.
Paula May Weeks' roles as prosecutor, defense attorney, criminal judge, and justice of appeal over the course of a 30-year career made her a well-known and highly respected figure by the time of her nomination to the presidency in January 2018. Having been called to the bar of Trinidad and Tobago in 1982, Weeks soon established herself as a sound and reliable legal mind, achieving many notable firsts along her remarkable journey, and her steady climb through the ranks of the judiciary made her an influential role model for women and girls in the field.
It is with distinct privilege and pleasure that I attend upon you this morning in my role here as a co-chair of the Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists project. As Your Excellency is no doubt aware, the CCJ Academy for Law seeks by this project to honor 34 eminent Caribbean women jurists who have served their people with distinction. So I stand here, Your Excellency, today to present a copy of Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists under the CCJ Academy for Law Eminent Caribbean Jurist Series.
And I love the fact that it's pink.
I do.
Rising sharply out of the Atlantic Ocean, landmarked by a Ragged Point lighthouse and sitting on a terrace which looks as far north as Pico Tenerife, is East Point, the easternmost district in Barbados. It was here in this district that Her Excellency Dame Sandra Mason was born Sandra Prunello Mason on 17 January 1949. It was here amidst the poetic rhythms of this geography that Dame Sandra's improbable but highly fascinating odyssey to Government House, 16 road miles and social light years away from East Point, all started. A biographer would be forgiven for titling this journey with all its twists and turns, hard knocks and lucky breaks, Dame Sandra's Odyssey from East Point to Government House.
I was born into a humble family. I never forgot where I came from. And my odyssey, as you call it, in my journey in the magistrate's court taught me a great deal. It taught me understanding. It also told me, there but for the grace of God go I, and I hold fast to that. So in the rest of my life, I will say, there for the grace of God go I, when I see other human beings. So Professor, the Honorable Mr. Justice Burgess, I would wish to thank you very much from the bottom of my heart.
Justice McCullough's sojourn at the Court of Appeal was short, as on June 27, 2007, she was appointed as the first female Chief Justice of Jamaica and conferred with the Order of Jamaica. Her appointment came as a huge surprise. Justice McCullough had never expected to be Chief Justice and certainly never expected that she would be invited to take up that position. She realized that it would mean doing much less of what she really loved, adjudicating, and doing a lot more of something in which she had relatively less experience, administration. However, she gave the matter some thought and accepted the appointment as being an opportunity to continue to serve her country at the highest level of the judicial system.
I am very pleased to be one of the honorees selected to be a part of this book, and I thank the Honorable Mike Hilton for his contribution to the work. His Excellency is very well versed in the many initiatives undertaken during my tenure as Chief Justice, due to the many presentations that I have made at the swearing-in ceremonies. Sometimes, of course, Your Excellency, I feel they were much too lengthy, but Your Excellency endured them. It would be remiss of me on this occasion not to acknowledge the support that I have received from various teams of judges and other stakeholders in all the initiatives that I have pursued. One outstanding example involved the entire Criminal Case Management Steering Committee, comprised of judicial representatives from all levels of court, the public bar, the private bar, and members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, who gave of their time on some Saturdays to travel to several parishes to make presentations on the management of criminal cases so as to conserve time and save expenses. It is an example of what can be achieved when we all work together.
Dame Janice made history on 24th October 2012 when she was appointed the first Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Initially, she was in awe and quite pensive about the enormity of the task that lay ahead of her, but she was encouraged and comforted by her mother's mantra that she could do whatever she set her mind to do and do it to the best of her ability. Buoyed by this and the encouragement of her family, close friends and colleagues, she set about the task of being the best Chief Justice that she could be, knowing that she was taking on a role that has historically been performed by men. Her hard work, dedication, and achievements have secured for her widespread acceptance as the first female Chief Justice of the regional court system.
I am simply, I think in many respects, overwhelmed. This, for me, is a distinct honor to be recognized by the Caribbean Court of Justice Academy of Law, and it came as a pleasant surprise. And so, Justice Blenman, I wish to thank you, and indeed the entire committee on this project, and all those persons who have had a part to play in selecting me as one of the pioneering Caribbean women jurists. I wish to extend also hearty congratulations to the other honorees recognized by the Academy, and to thank the chair and his co-chair, Justice Rajnath Lee, as well, for the work that they have done on this project in seeing it culminate in this event. Also to my biographer, if I may call him that, Justice Webster, who, when he informed me of his task, and he took it on with such just happy to do so, and I extend certainly my appreciation for him taking the time out. The Court of Appeal, of course, is always busy, but he seemed quite happy to take that time to contribute in the way that he did. My father always said, hard work never killed anyone. That was his mantra, and I accepted it. From my mother, she basically, I think, gave me the strength of courage and always, as it were, drilled in me to be independent, to be able to stand up courageously for my convictions. And I hope that I have done that and that I have made her proud.
Truly auspicious. I hope that you enjoyed sharing the journey of the book, Eminent Caribbean Jurists, Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists. It may come as no surprise that the scope of this project required the support of a considerable number of persons throughout the region. Distinguished persons from diverse backgrounds wholeheartedly gave their time and expertise to make this a reality, and for this, the CCJ Academy for Law is sincerely grateful. Most importantly, the co-chairs of the Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists Project, Justices Anderson and Rajnath Lee, thank the awardees for their graciousness and generosity in facilitating the publication of this book. For your copy of the book, Eminent Caribbean Jurists, Pioneering Caribbean Women Jurists, be sure to read the information at the end of this presentation. That's not all. This book launch signals the start of celebrations, which will culminate in a commemorative event on March 8, 2022, marked globally as International Women's Day. You can also look forward to a video series in which we will hear from the women themselves. Until then, thank you for viewing.